Welcome to Why Voices. Let me tell you guys a story about a company that turned the stock market into a touchscreen battlefield, a place where everyday people became traders with just a swipe. That company is Robinhood, the Robinhood market. Ticker symbol HOOD, Hood. And right now it's standing at the crossroads of massive opportunity and serious skepticism. Some would say, what does Robin Hood look like in the future? If the bulls are right, Robin Hood is evolving from a simple trading app into a full-blown financial ecosystem. I'm talking about banking, crypto, retirement accounts, credit cards, and maybe even AI-powered tools. Analysts say that Robinhood has a strong long-term upside momentum. Some would say, why is that? Because this is where young investors of the future will be purchasing their stocks on the stock market. Not only that, they have new products that's beginning to take off. Not only that, Robinhood is more durable, diversified, and their business model is very, very diversified. In the Bulls version of the future, Robinhood will become the super app of the future for Gen Z financing, the same way Cash App became a cultural staple. Some would say, what does Robinhood's balance sheet look like? Well, their market cap is $62 billion. Their PE ratio is 39. Their revenue is 3.6 billion. Yes, their gross profit is 2.69 billion. Their net profit margin is what I like to talk about is 42%. Top 10 in the industry, okay, of all the apps that's out there. And I love this right here. Their free cash flow is up 865% as of 2025, coming into 2026. This is under the Biden-Harris administration. I don't always talk to you guys about what the Bulls think. I like to give a different perspective from the Bears' point of view. And the Bears' point of view is that their total debt is 11.6 billion, up 55% year to date. And the company is fair value. The fair value of this company would be about $44.94 a share to around $70. That's where you can get it at right now. I'm going to be getting into the charts a little bit later to talk about where it was a year ago under the Biden-Harris administration and to where it is now under the Trump administration. The price of the stock has fell significantly. That's why I think it's such a buy for young investors now, because we're taught to buy low and sell high. The Warren Buffett method teaches us how when the market is fearful, rather, that's time for us young investors to be greedy. This is when most of your money can be made during these down times in the market. So let's just flip back over to what the bulls think. Matter of fact, the bulls is hyped up. The bulls is amped up over the app Robinhood. They see it as a top tier growth machine, a company with 717% upgrowth over the last 3 years in return, a business with elite profitability metrics, a brand that owns the retail investor culture. This is where all the Gen Z and young investors is getting into the market and starting to learn how to invest in the market. Robinhood, or ticker symbol HOOD, is still early, however. The upside is already showing, but the real explosion comes when the new products begin to scale. What does the Bears have to say about all this? The Bears say that the stock is overvalued compared to the fair value. The Bears complain that the company's debt is rising fast. The Bears complain that the EPS growth has slowed. The Bears complain that year-to-date performance is deep in the red. And I can see why performance is deep in the red because of this new administration action that has been taken as soon as they came in to office. We are now plunged down into a war. And I can see why this stock has tumbled down. We're going to get into the charts just a little bit so I can show you guys where it was under the Biden-Harris administration and where it is now under the Trump administration due to the fact that we are in war. And today's date is April 3rd. So we can look back at this video in the future because I believe that it is a buy. I'm going to get into the charts in just a minute, but I want to leave you guys with the big picture. Robinhood is a high energy, high volatility character in the stock market movie. Robinhood, or ticker symbol HOOD, it's a rebel. Robinhood, ticker symbol HOOD, it's a disruptor. The app that made Wall Street sweat. From the Bulls' perspective, the Bulls see a future fintech empire. From the Bears' perspective, the Bears see a bubble waiting to pop. But one thing is certain, Hood is never born. Let's just jump into the charts real quick and take a look at the company Robin Hood. I like to always take you guys back to 1 year ago. Take you guys back 1 year ago. And as you can see, 1 year ago, under the Biden-Harris administration, we was sitting at $153.86 for a high. And then I always tell you guys, young investors, we always need to move left to find out if this is going to be a good buy and where the company came from to where the company is now under the Trump administration. If we go back 1 year ago, we see when the Trump administration was starting to come in to power, Robinhood fell immediately down to an all-time high of $128.38. Yeah. And then 6 months after that, we can start to see it went from 128. He was just getting in office. It kind of ran a little bit. It ran up to 152.49, which was still not an all-time high. But as you guys begin to look at the trend under the new administration, it never reached the all-time high no more. It began 6 months ago to go down. I saw it at a low of $100 and 101.32. You can see that. That was just 6 months ago. But I'm still looking at the trend on how it was up here and it started trending down. All right, let's go 3 months ago. 3 months ago, everything is really starting to come in clear. You know, all this writing up here is because I had been tracking it under the Biden-Harris administration. But let's look at what it started doing under the Trump administration 3 months ago. The trajectory just started going down. And it kept falling, you guys. It fell all the way down just 3 months ago to an all-time low of $66 and $68, 67.81. And I'm going to go ahead and put a pin there so you guys can see where it fell to. Right there. $68.84. That was just 3 months ago. And then you guys can see on the charts how it tried to make a little run. It tried to make a little run. It came back up, okay? But then 1 month ago, this is the time we start to go back into war. It actually ran up to $80, $86.12. That was just 1 month ago. But we went into war. And we're in war right now. It is April 3rd as I make this video, 2026. You guys can see the trajectory on what this stock started doing. And it ran all the way down to a low, an all-time low of $63. You remember my previous all-time low was $68.43. But now, since war is here, we even fell even further. And I'm going to put another pin there so we can know this is just 1 month ago. We see it at a low of $63. Boom, got that. Then 5 days ago, it tried to rally from the 63. You know, it rallied Then we had a nice little rally. It went all the way up to $71.67, you know, and then it crashed all the way back down to 65.76. And then it looks like we ended, let me pull this back a little bit. It ended the week 2 days ago. It ran to a high of $70.51, but it fell back down, and it ended the week at there. Ended the week at $68.84 is what it ended the week at. And now we into Easter weekend. Okay, this is Saturday. When we look at the charts, I think we're in that fair value spot to start buying Robinhood. I'll be averaging that cost down definitely, little by little. I say if you guys can catch Robinhood around $65, that'd be, or $66, that'd be a good place to enter in. And then once you enter in at $66, $67, somewhere around there, I would think that if you would just start averaging costs down until we decide if we're going to get out of this war. It might even fall down into the 50s before the war is over. We don't know how long we're going to be in this war. But anything under $67, I would start buying Robinhood, because we know that from the Biden-Harris administration, it's down about $95. It was running, but I think once everything turned around, Robinhood will probably shoot up into the 200s or maybe into the 225 area, which is going to allow you young investors to make a lot of money. You do need to get in now. This is not financial advice. We just come to you guys. We tell you guys about the company. We share where the company was, where the company is. I gave you guys the bear's perspective. I gave you the bull's perspective. But as for me, I think I'm going to just keep averaging the costs down. Even I might even buy this in some of my other formats at cost now. So when it does turn around, I'll start making money early on my journey back to the top. The stock market goes up, the stock market goes down. If you like this type of content, hit the subscribe button, like it, and share it to your friends, young investors. We learn how to buy low, and we learn how to sell high. And we learn that this is a game of patience. Talk to you guys soon. Love all you guys.